So as discussed, ActionScript 3.0 is the programming language that Flash uses. It allows us to create the interactive elements that you may see on the web, that you now see in games and apps on mobile devices. Flash is one program that allows you to create that kind of stuff. And it just allows us to create interactive elements or programs within Flash. And the power here is you can then take advantage of Flash's powerful animation techniques, or animation features, I should say, to create a combination of art and programming. So let's look a little bit at what ActionScript looks like. And I know we haven't touched on anything of it yet. So what we're going to do is I have an object on my stage here, and I'm simply just going to click on that and then go up to Window and Code Snippets. The Code Snippets panel allows us to quickly input generic ActionScript commands. And so that will give us an opportunity to then look at what ActionScript looks like. So we have, under the animation folder, one called Move with Keyboard Keys, or arrows, I should say. And this kind of does what you think it would, and that is it will program this ball to move in conjunction with the keyboard keys on our keyboard. So I'll just click this button, and now you'll see on our timeline that we have an actions layer, and we now have code on the actions panel. Now, it is very much common practice to have a separate layer for your actions. That's just kind of how it always goes. And you can see that we have actions on that layer, and that's indicated by the A that's above the open circle. And it's always best to not have any object on your actions layer to keep those two things separate. But now, when we look at this code, you can see what it looks like. We have what we call variables here, and then we have an add event listener, and with that you also have a function underneath, and it kind of just keeps going and going and going. And as you can see, there's very much a certain syntax to how you code this stuff out. It's very much make or break. For instance, if you forget one of these brackets, it will mess up the program. If you forget to add this key, you could very easily break the code. And there are many different things to the code that can be make or break. And we'll be discussing that as we actually get into the actual coding process. But as you can see, there is very much a flow to this. And at the end, you can see here that we have 91 lines of code just to move our ball back and forth with our keyboard arrows. And if we go to Control, Test Movie, and then in Flash Professional, since we're just doing this as a test, and if I use my arrow keys, you can see that I can move the ball up, down, left, and right. And that's all that code does, is it just programs the ball to move however we press our keys. And so that is a little bit about the code itself, and we'll be getting more into this as we get going. I just thought I should show you kind of what it looks like before we get started on the more complex portions of the code.